My name is Monira Al Qadiri, and I'm presenting an exhibition called The Craft at Gasworks in London. It's an exhibition comprising of three works, a floating sculpture, a film, and a neon light piece. The central piece in the exhibition is a VHS video called The Craft. It's a film compilation of home videos that my family had, mixed in with kind of new VHS footage that I shot. And the whole film is kind of an allegory for, let's say, dying American pop culture. Using tropes such as junk food, alien abductions, but also international diplomacy. So the film frames international diplomacy as a kind of dying art form, in a way that it's this kind of tactfulness of dealing with each other in an international scene seems almost alien and foreign to us these days. The film is a very kind of naive story told through a child's eyes. It's a personal story of mine about a dream that me and my sister had when we were kids. And I had a vision a few years ago about this story and how to portray it in a film, but using these kind of, let's say, embassy locations and diplomatic parties and basically activities that my parents took part in, mixed in with this alien fiction, to portray, I guess, the shift in the paradigms of politics in the world. The film and the light piece are set inside an environment which looks like an American diner, and I thought it was very important to include this environment as part of the exhibition because these kind of places, they really evoke a lot of memories and emotions and concepts in people's minds that without being actually included in this atmosphere would not be recreated. And also the diner features inside the film. It's actually the inside of the spaceship, which plays this kind of meta-narrative dialogue with the space itself. The neon sign piece called Omen, which is displayed inside the diner, is a work where I wanted to kind of present an omen of the future, where crafts in general are dying. But usually when we think about crafts, we think about artistic, visible, physical skills. But I also think that kind of the tactfulness and sensitivities of invisible practices such as international diplomacy are also dying in a way that you can think of them as kind of an artistic craft and a skill that will not be there anymore. And the idea to show it as a kind of a light piece is a kind of I want it to be also like a warning as well. That's why it's called Omen. The first work in the exhibition is called The End, and it's actually a levitating hamburger inside a darkened space, and alongside it you can hear a sound piece, which is actually my voice, but manipulated to sound like a man, reading an excerpt from a book about the urbanization of Kuwait in the 1960s. The work reflects a kind of, let's say, the high summer of American expansionism and American cultural hegemony, which I think it was the 1960s, and how when this kind of cultural expansion arrived, it felt like a kind of an alien invasion, which this text appropriately describes. The levitating hamburger, I think, was a kind of a metaphor for America itself. The hamburger being the most powerful food object in the industrialized world. But if you touch the hamburger, it will fall because it's held very lightly by a magnet. And yeah, that's an allegory for how power seems so visible and kind of in your face all the time, but that it's also extremely precarious and at any given moment can fall. I think the works definitely kind of present a eulogy towards American popular culture in our popular imaginations, let's say, across the world. But at the same time, as someone who was born and grew up in the 1980s, I feel like this kind of virtual Americanness is also part of who I am. So at the same time, I want to present it as also being kind of complicit in the, let's say, celebration of this culture. The work is kind of, it's a very personal story, but at the same time I use it as a kind of microcosm for the bigger picture, which the world is going through now, which is the rise of political populism. But I think political populism has existed for many years now, and it just, I think it showed in many different ways in different parts of the world. For us, it was junk food. I think food is the ultimate carrier of culture in the world. And even my entire generation in Kuwait, we were called chicken nuggets as we were growing up. Brown on the outside, white on the inside, because we all went to these kind of English-speaking schools. But I think the world has come to a point now where, let's say, dominant Western hegemony is kind of breaking down in a way, and but at the same time, we all lived through it, so I just wanted to confront that part of also my life, and I think the lives of many others. But I do believe the world is moving towards a much more kind of multipolar way of living, which can be disconcerting at the same time as it is necessary.